What's going on, trappers? Welcome back to J-Will Trap TV. If you're like K9 and you're betting on this channel, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and put a notification bell so you know when I go live or make a new video. I wouldn't want you to get dropped over a like. Let's go. Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to J-Will Trap TV. Hey guys, nice to see you guys. We were gone for a week, but now we're back. We're back. BMF Season 2, Episode 6. And before we get started with this one, guys, I just want to thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for all the support, because guess what? If you guys look at that last video, I'm going to put the comment right here. Comment right here. We had our boy K9, Ryan Lawrence, commented on our video, bro, on our channel, and he said he liked that intro. Now, I think that's really K9, so I'm saying, hey, K9, thank you for with the channel. Hey, shout out to Vacay JTV. We got a one-up that Peaches interview that my boy Vacay JTV did. So, hey, K9, fuck with your boy. We won't make it weird at all. It won't be like Drake and I Show Speed where he hung up on him, all right?
Bro, your voice is so sexy. Like, bro, how is it so smooth like that? Like, how your voice so smooth like that, bro? How you... Man,
But moving on, let's jump right in, guys. Let's go. So we start off with our normal title card, and this one says, we are looking for a loyal, committed crew that stood on the same principles we stood for to help our elevation and rise back into the lifestyle. Okay, so I like that. I like how we starting this one off. So we start this one off and we see our boy Terry. And Terry, he got a Uzi. Now remember, in our last episode, Terry said he's back in the game. And this boy looked like he back. He got that Uzi and he looking for Lamar. Remember, Lamar was messing with his mama and he ain't playing. Terry says that Lamar is hiding and that they can't find him. And Meech says that they're gonna have to set a trap to draw him out. We switch scenes and now we're at Al's house and he comes in complaining, saying it smells like shit. Turns out Lamar is here and he's in there burping the bag. Now this shit is so nasty. They need to stop showing him in that bag, whatever they put it in, because it really looked nasty, okay? I don't want to see that shit anymore. Al says that the Flannery boys are back and they're rolling around with guns and they are definitely trying to send a message. Lamar gets the message. We switch to Wolf Records and we got Meech and Terry in the crew. Terry is asking Roland how Lamar got the drop on Lucille if the guys have been watching the house. And Roland doesn't give us a good answer. He just says, don't worry about it. We're gonna catch Lamar. Hell no. Roland, why the hell were you not at the house watching Lucille? What the hell, what were you doing? Terry, why are you letting this guy off so easy? Meech and Terry continue to ask Roland what's been going on since they've been gone. Roland says that Dink is MIA and that B. Mickey has been MIA, but he has a new connect and that's how he's been surviving. Meech tells everybody that he has some new weight and that he's gonna get them some money and get them back in action. The goons are excited about this news, and Saki says he has to leave to go drop off his son. In the next scene, we see Saki leaving Wolf Records, going to his car behind Wolf Records. Before he gets into his car, he decides to take a piss. He's taking a piss, and then next thing you know, Lamar rolls up on him. He tries to pull his pistol out, but Lamar hits him with the shotgun. This fool Lamar's not playing. He just came and hit one of Meech's men right behind their safe house in the middle of the day. We switch scenes and we come back from the intro, and it looks like we have a crime scene around Saki's murder. Terry is very distraught about the murder, and then we see Bryant and Jen pull up. They acknowledge that the Flannery boys are back, and Meech confronts Bryant, and he says, hey, you need to figure out who did this, find who did this, and do your job. Bryant says, we're gonna find out who did this and a whole lot more, nigga. Hey, this fool Bryant hates Meech, bro. As we're ending the scene, we see a dude named Calix walk up on Hoop, and he's asking him for something, and Hoop says, now is not a good time. I wonder what this is about. So now we switch to Lamar, and he's somewhere with a dog, like a pit bull or some shit. I don't know. I don't know about dogs, guys. Come on. This dog, he's barking at Lamar. He seems pretty aggressive and he's pretty beat up. He has like a bandage around his stomach. He's bleeding. He's on a chain. The dog is barking. It's not the kind of dog I would get close to because it seems like he definitely wants to bite. Lamar says, hey, if you bite me, I'm gonna bite you back. That shit was funny. As Lamar is trying to befriend the dog's owner comes out and tells him to get away from his dog. Lamar says the owner isn't taking care of the dog and he pursues to fight the guy. He starts beating the shit out of him. I'm thinking he's about to kill him, but instead of killing him, he has like this Mike Tyson moment on this dude's ear and just totally bites his ear off and spits it into the camera. I love that scene. It was freaking gnarly. We switch back to Meech, Terry, and Hoop, and it looks like they're in a little safe house, a different house than the Flannery house. They got the weight on the table and they are discussing the Lamar Saki death situation. Meech says he wants to expand and bring on the PA guys. Hoop says the PA guys are crazy. Meech says they are crazy, but that's good because they can be enforcers and help with Lamar, and they can also move weight. Terry says if they don't know these dudes and they don't really fuck with them like that, how are they gonna get them to be down with BMF? Meech says that tonight is Souls night and everyone will be there at the club, and that's when he will make his play. We switch to the precinct and we are focusing on Jen. Jen's walking through the precinct and she sees Bryant arguing with another guy in evidence, a guy named Smitty. So they're arguing about something. We can't see what they're arguing about, but the conversation looks pretty tense. I'm thinking, are they noticing that B. Mickey's guns are missing from evidence? That's what I'm thinking. We switch to a dreaming B. Mick that's dreaming. He's laying in bed and he's rubbing on off-screen Kato's belly. We don't get to see Kato's face, so they probably couldn't get the actress back, but we can see that B. Mickey's kind of here rubbing on her stomach. But then next thing you know, a gun gets put in his face in the dream sequence, and then it gets shot, and then he wakes up. Meech is knocking on the door, and B. Mickey lets him in. Meech says, "What's up? What's going on?" He checks in on him. He goes like, "Hey, I heard you were carrying some weight." B. Mickey said he got back with the medical grade guy for a little bit, but now he isn't fucking with them again. B. Mick looks a little distraught, so Meech asks him if he's okay. And B. Mick doesn't say anything, and then Meech asks him if he's worried about Kato. And he says, "Yo, you gotta forget about that rat bitch." B. Mick says that Kato was his baby mama, so he finally tells Meech when he knows that, Kato was pregnant with his son. Meech says he's sorry about that, but he quickly changes the subject and makes it seem like he doesn't really care about Kato at all. That's what I got. He says that he got locked in with Ty Washington in ATL, and that he has new weight. He says that the drought is over. B. Mick asks him about moving back into a second-in-command position, and then Meech says, "Yo, you still tripping on that?" B. Mickey says they left without calling him or sending him a message or giving him any instructions. He says that while they were gone, he was holding it down for him and his brother. Meech says that he had to flee quickly, and B. Mickey knows that he doesn't use phones. He says that now that Saki got hit, shit's been going sideways and he's trying to take care of it. He gets up to leave and then he tries to dap B. Mick, but B. Mick doesn't dap him back, so he just kind of bumps him on the chest. So B. Mick is not feeling Meech, and Meech kind of doesn't really care about some of B. Mickey's feelings. We switch to T sleeping at the Flannery house, and Wanda comes in. She sees a wad of cash on Terry's dresser, and she kind of quietly sneaks in the room, and she goes into his drawer, and then she takes his belt. I'm like, what is going on? He wakes up, and he says, "Oh, what's going on, Wanda?" And the first thing Wanda asks Terry is if he's back in the game with Meech. Terry's just waking up, and he don't really want to hear this. Terry says he understands if she wants to leave. He says that he will take care of her and the baby no matter what. Wanda says that's not what she wants, and that she doesn't want their family to ever get split up again, and that she wants to be here, and she's here for the long run no matter what happens. Terry asks her if she is sure. It's almost like Terry don't want her to be sure, because you know why. Y'all know why. Markeisha. Wanda says that she does want to be there and that she is sure, and then she asks Terry to take a family photo with all of them. Terry says that he wants to take the family photo. We switch to Jen and Brian leaving the precinct. Jen seems to be a little annoyed with Brian, and Brian says, "Hey, the best way to communicate is to be direct." So then Jen says, "Hey, what's going on? Why were you arguing with Smitty?" And Brian says, "None of your business." And then Jen comes out and says, "Are you dirty like the way they say you are?" So she called him out. She's like, "Are you a dirty cop, bro?" And Brian gets upset. He says, "Who's calling me a dirty cop?" Jen doesn't answer, and she says that he's hiding something, that she knows he's hiding something, and if they're gonna be partners, that he needs to be at 100% with her, or she's not gonna be able to watch his back. Brian says he's gonna be real with her. He says that he's setting up another sting with the CI to capture Meech. Jen says that she's sick of Beckwith coming down on them about the murders, and that she's in if it's all about catching Meech. So now we switch to Meech. He's pulling up to Soul Night at the club in a nice mink coat. Meech looking fresh. He walking in, all the ladies looking at him. He looking back. He got that killer smile, and everyone's just having a great time. Meech walks up on this guy named Tariq, and I'm thinking this guy is like a basketball player because that's what it sounds like based on the conversation. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. He offers to buy this dude drinks, and the guy's like, "All right, fine." So they order some Remy Martin VSOP. That's my drink. As they're ordering these drinks, Sterling from the PA Boys walks up with his crew. Meech says hello, and he says, "Hey man, I seen you at K9s," and Sterling's not really interested in talking to Meech. Next thing you know, we see another group of guys. I think these are the 6 Mile Boys, and they walk up and they start talking shit to Sterling's crew. Sterling goes up and he punches one of these dudes, and then a brawl starts out. The brawl goes, and then Meech jumps in and starts helping Sterling's crew. The bouncers throw Meech and Sterling's crew out of the club, and they throw Sterling out too. Sterling gets mad, says, "Hey, I need my mink back." They throw it out on the ground. Sterling's appreciative that Meech was helping them out, and Meech introduces himself again, and they say before they can kind of do this meet and greet that they should get out of there before the 6 Mile Boys show up. So it looks like Meech is about to meet with Sterling and get some things going. So we switch back to the Flannery house, and we got Lucille, Terry, and Raw Dog Charles. That's his new name, guys. Everybody say he Raw Dog Charles now. Raw Dog Charles, he getting it. I'm not gonna keep saying it, but Charles is getting his haircut. He's over here getting his haircut by Terry, and Lucille's saying that, hey, they better clean that up when they're done. Charles asks Terry how Atlanta was, and Terry gives him like this crazy like white answer. He's like, "Oh, it was great. We met a lot of professionals, and there were a lot of colleges, and et cetera, right?" Next thing you know, there's a knock on the door, and Lucille goes to answer the door, and a dude named Mr. Ryan comes in. Now, I thought maybe it might be Lamar again. I was like kind of freaking out, but it's Mr. Ryan, the teacher, and he's here to let Terry know that, hey, you're missing some assignments. I'm here to help tutor you. I'm trying to help you graduate. Now, the guy who was just talking about being excited to see the colleges and all that stuff says, "Hey, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I am no longer interested in going to school anymore." And this freaks Lucille and Charles out. Lucille says that Terry graduating is very important to her. Terry says that a high school diploma doesn't guarantee success. He then goes on to name a bunch of famous folks who didn't get a high school diploma and they found success. And Charles kind of pushes back and says, a lot of those dudes you just named were white dudes, And then Terry goes on to name some black dudes that didn't go to high school and were able to graduate and meet success. And Charles says, hey man, look, I don't want you growing up the way I did. I don't want you growing up as an uneducated black man. It puts you at a disadvantage. He says that he doesn't want Terry to endure the same struggles that he had to go through. Terry says that he's been thinking about this for a long time and there's nothing that anyone in there says that will change his mind. Mr. Ryan says, okay, all right, well, give me a call. Let me know if you change your mind, and he leaves. Once Mr. Ryan leaves, Lucille follows Terry, and she asks Terry, are you gonna follow in your steps like your brother and become a drug dealer? Terry says that him and Meech are businessmen running a corporation that will eventually be legitimate. Charles and Lucille push back and they plead with Terry. They say that he will end up dead or in jail. And they also say that Lamar came looking for them and that they're really worried about this lifestyle. Terry says that is their plan, that he tried the school route and he didn't like it. He said it was boring, it was taking too long, and it's just not for him. Lucille pleads with him again and says that she's just trying to help. She just wants to keep her boys alive. Terry says that they want to help do him and Meech a big favor and just wish him luck. So dang, Terry kind of put his foot down, and I feel like he kind of laid out his points in a very, cogent, cohesive way. And he just let them know, I'm in the game, kept it honest with them, and just told them this is what I'm doing. We switched to Meech and Mo at Mo's house. Meech comes into the house, hooks her up with some cash, said this is for taking care of the kids and helping me out with that Denise situation. So I guess that Denise situation is okay, she's paid, and Meech is moving on. Meech asks Mo about Lamar. Mo briefs Meech that she has seen him and that he showed up with a shit bag on his chest. Yes, that nasty ass shit bag, and that he couldn't fuck either. And then Meech's like, what do you mean he couldn't fuck? How you know? And then she just kind of gives him a look like I haven't been fucking around with them. So they weren't fucking around, but she just, I don't know, maybe she heard about it from, around the way. Meech says that he's gonna catch Lamar and kill him. Mo says, good luck catching Lamar because the street stuff isn't gonna work. You're gonna have to be more tactical. You're gonna have to come up with something better to draw him out and catch him. We switch to Lamar and it looks like he's back at Al's house. He has a dog and he's caring for the dog. Al comes in and Lamar introduces him to the dog. He says that he's named the dog Blackie. Al asks Lamar, why is he feeding the dog Al's food? He calls Blackie a mutt and says that he's ugly as hell. Lamar stands up like Debo and says that he better apologize right now. And he's like serious. He gets up in Al's face and he threatens to kill him. Al says that he's sorry to Blackie. How is Lamar gonna freaking come and talk like that to his family? His family that saved him out in the rain, nursed him back to health and is taking care of him. Went and threatened him over a dog that he just got. This dude is crazy in the head, guys, crazy. We switch back to Charles and Lucille at the Flannery house, and Lucille's pretty distraught about Terry's decision. Charles comes up and tries to cheer her up and says that it's gonna be okay, and Lucille says that they made their decision and that she's gonna have to live with it. Charles tries to cheer her up again and asks her to put on her best looking dress and that he's gonna take her out to dinner tonight. Lucille isn't really interested at first, but then Charles puts on some extra charm, starts touching her, picks her up, and then she's now interested and wants to go. So things are looking a little better. Things are looking a little better over here for Lucille and Charles. Raw dog Charles. So now we go back to the safe house and Meech is pulling up on Terry. He informs Terry about his relationship with Sterling from the PA Boys and says they're working together now. They're gonna provide protection and they're also going to move the weight. T asks how B Mickey's doing, and Meech says that scary ass nigga's still crying about his mom. But if you guys remember, he wasn't crying about his mom, he was crying about Kato. So Meech doesn't mention Kato here, so this is what I'm talking about, guys. Meech does not care about B Mickey's feelings when it comes to this woman, but B Mickey really cares about her. And that's gonna cause some issues. Meech lets us know that B Mick has access to the medical grade Connect again. Meech wants to use this medical Connect as another re-up to kind of support their current operation. At this point, T tells Meech that Nikki got a job at a beauty salon. We go to the beauty salon and Meech is there getting his nails done. He brought Hoop along with him. Hoop is reading a Jet magazine. Come on, I know you guys remember that growing up. Meech is sitting there getting his nails done and Nikki is over there kind of sweeping the floor. And she's doing her thing, making her money, taking care of business with her new job. You can tell she's a little embarrassed about Meech being in there. Next thing you know, the owner comes in and she says, hey, is everything going okay? How's everything going? I didn't get the owner's name. If you guys know her name, drop it in the comments. She says she's been running the place for about a year and then Meech gets up and offers her an opportunity to make some more money. He gives her a wad of cash and says he'll be in touch with her later. We switch to Terry and it's raining outside. He gets into a car and he starts driving. We see him drive by Bryant and Jen and he runs a stop sign and they're gonna pull him over, but then they decide just to follow him. We see that Terry is picking up Markeisha and her 2 children out of the rain. Markeisha tells us that Boom put her out in the rain. Hey, this Boom guy, he nasty. Markeisha asks Terry if they can go to his place so they can get out of these wet clothes. Terry says he thinks a hotel will be better. So, okay. So does Markeisha not know about Wanda? I don't think she knows about Wanda. We switch to the hotel and Markeisha is briefing T on what happened. She says that Boom kicked her out because he thinks that she has been spending his money. Markeisha says she has her own job and has her own money and doesn't need to spend Boom's money. Markeisha lays in the bed and starts dreaming about owning a house with a big backyard for all of their kids and that she wants a clothing and traveling allowance. She says that she dreams of traveling to places like Miami, Tamarindo, in Aguas Buenas. I don't even know what those places are. Well, Miami, yes. Terry asks her if she speaks Spanish, and she says that Spanish is her first language, that her mom is black and her dad is Puerto Rican. Terry then says that he's gonna leave and then come right back. He's gonna go grab some stuff and come back to the hotel. We switch to Charles and Lucille, and they're out to dinner. Charles looking good, he got a nice suit jacket on, looking pretty fresh, and Lucille, she's in a nice red dress. Charles says that he's finally taking Lucille out as promised. Lucille says that she's glad they went out and that she has to tell him something. She says that she had to confront Sister Riley because she thought that Charles and Sister Riley were having an affair. Raw Dog Charles starts stuttering and making funny faces and says, where did you get that idea? Lucille says she got that idea from those porn magazines. She says the point is that she knows Charles is a good and faithful husband that cares about his family. Charles is over here like hearing this stuff and he is like cringing when she's saying that he's faithful because he knows that he was raw dogging Miss Mabel 2 weeks ago. Charles says that he's proud of her and that he's not cheating on her with Miss Riley. He didn't say he wasn't cheating. He said he wasn't cheating on her with Miss Riley. He also says that he's sorry that he wasn't always able to provide everything that she wants. Lucille says that she has a migraine from all the drinking, and Charles says, well, hey, we normally don't drink. He says, hey, I can probably, do some other stuff to you to help you with that migraine. So Charles, he's trying to go raw dog again. And he lets her know one more time that he's not cheating with Sister Riley and that he is dedicated to Lucille. We go back to Terry at the hotel, and now he's back. Your boy, he brought some pizza, he brought some soda, and he brought a Sega. Hey, that's dope. I remember that box. I remember that Sega box. Markeisha's excited. She's happy that, he brought the stuff. And she takes him into another room and turns the music on. They start making love. And then we switch to Brian and Jen, and we see that they're photographing these folks, right? So I'm writing this stuff down as I'm watching, and I'm just thinking like, Brian and what Jen are talking about isn't really important. But Brian says that, hey, Jen, I bet you could take a big one. And she says like, oh, it's not about the size, it's how you use it. But as they keep going, I'm like, whoa. Is Brian shooting his shot at Jen? He straight up tells Jen that, if she ever needs some, that he can do it for her. And it looks like she might be kind of down. I don't know. Looks like everybody in BMF about to start hooking up, man. Dang, we watching old people have sex, Charles and Lucille having sex, Charles and Miss Mabel having sex, Terry and Markeisha having sex, Terry and Wanda having sex, Meech and Mo having sex, Meech and I forget his other baby's mama's name having sex, but dang, this is too much sex. Go back to Markeisha and Terry, and they're in the living room now. She sends the kids to bed, and Markeisha asks Terry why they couldn't go back to Terry's house. Woo! She asked these questions after they had sex. She should have been asking them before they had sex. So T is honest with Markeisha, or should say partially honest. He calls Wanda his ex, but they are pretty much together. He says that she's staying with him because he's providing for her and his son. Once Markeisha gets the news that a woman is staying with Terry in his house, the vibe totally changes. She asks him if he loves Wanda, and then Terry says, do you love Boom? Terry says that it's pretty much over and he's just providing for her and her son. Markeisha says that she thinks Terry should go. She says having strange men around children confuses them. Terry says, okay, and he tries to kiss her and hug her as he leaves, but then she stops him and just gives him a handshake. So, man, dang, that's messed up. That's messed up. But that is a double standard. I have to say it's a double standard because you're totally cool with cheating on, well, like you don't like your situation with Boom, and you're cheating on Boom with Terry, and Terry doesn't like a situation with Wanda. Wanda isn't beating his ass, right? But you're not okay with him doing that. So I thought that was interesting. We switch to Mo, and she walks out the gym, and Lamar's standing outside with Blackie the dog. She asks Lamar what he wants, and Lamar says that he wanted to introduce her to the dog. Mo asks why the dog is all beat up, and Lamar says the previous owner put the dog into some fighting rings and the dog got hurt. Lamar says he wants to nurse the dog back to health and teach it some new tricks. Mo says she understands Lamar's been through a lot of stuff, but that, getting that dog back to health and working with the dog isn't gonna change anything for him or with her and him. Lamar says he knows, but that he just wanted to introduce her to the dog. I feel like the way to get to Lamar is through Mo, because this fool keep on showing up looking for her. So if you just lay watching Mo all the time, you can get Lamar. We switch to Meech, Terry, and crew, and Meech pulls up to the hangout spot in a new Lexus GS. So Meech balling. Meech, last episode, they were scrounging for money, but now they got money. That weight is definitely doing something. We see Hoop walk up, and then T asks Meech, how is Meech buying new cars when they owe Boom money? Meech says that Boom is Terry's problem and that Terry went to him after he told him not to go to him, and now he's messing with Markeisha. Meech says that he's gonna have to deal with those consequences on his own. So here's where this scene gets kind of weird. So Hoop says they got a problem, and then Dink walks up to Terry, and he's upset with Terry. He wants his money back. He's saying that weight that Terry gave him, that Terry is saying that he didn't even give it to him and that Hoop gave to him. He's saying that weight wasn't good. The customers are complaining about it. It weighed a certain amount when they first got it, that when it dried up, it was different and they didn't get a very good high off of it. Terry says that's how the business goes. So what I think is going on here is with the whipping method that they're using, right? When they sell the drugs, it weighs what the customers expect the weigh, but once they bust it down, it's not the same and the high is not as strong. And that's why they're complaining. Dink is still pressing T to give his money back, and T goes like, hey, what you gonna do about it? So they start scrapping, and it looks like Dink gets the best of Terry, gets on top of him, and he starts punching him, and then Meech jumps in, he stops Dink from beating up Terry, and they start beating up Dink. But then it turns out Hoop tries to get involved, but then Sterling pulls a strap out on Hoop and tells him to kind of chill out and not to do anything. So now Hoop is just protesting, saying they should be family, and they gotta stop fighting. But Meech and Terry continue to beat down on Dink, and they let him know to never step to them like that again. We now switch to Charles visiting Mabel. Mabel's wearing a robe, looking kind of sexy, looking like she's trying to get done up again, like she want that raw dog Charles. Charles comes in stuttering. He's saying that he wants to work on his marriage and that they can't do this anymore. Mabel says, okay, if that's what you really want, you should do what makes you happy. Charles starts to leave, and Mabel says, you can't even look at me. And then she lets the robe down, butt naked, letting those gorilla titties come out. Charles is still not facing her, but then she goes behind him and starts to touch him and seduce him. Looks like she reaches below the waist, and Charles, he just can't resist. And then next thing you know, Charles got her on the couch. He butt naked, and he going raw dog Charles up in there. Charles, I thought you just had a moment of weakness. I thought you was drunk. I thought you was drunk, nigga. And now you in here sober. What are you doing, Charles? God dang it, Charles. Come on, man. Damn it, bro. You just told Lucille that you all about Lucille. So now we switch to Nikki at the beauty salon. She's coming into work. As she's coming into work, she sees her brother Meech leaving, and Meech says hello. She says hello, but then she goes directly to the owner. I don't know the owner's name. Someone put it in the comments if you guys know the owner's name. She goes to the owner and she goes like, hey, what was that bag of money for? What was that money for? And she says, oh, Meech was paying for a service. And she goes like, there's no service here that costs that amount of money that he just gave you. And she goes like, we grown, we all hustling, we doing our thing. And then Nikki says, you guys are all the same. So Nikki wants to get out of this terrible, situation she's in. It almost seems like no matter what she does, whether she stays in the house, whether she meets a new friend that she walks to school with, or even if she gets a new job, that she just can't escape this drug game and the hold it has on everyone around her. We switch scenes and we're outside of the salon with Meech and Hoop now. They're doing some small talk, talking about Nikki working. And then Meech says, hey, speaking of family, are you cool with what happened with Dink? So I'm guessing now that Hoop and Dink are brothers, right? Hoop acknowledges that he does have some issues with the beatdown. He says that BMF is supposed to be a family and it feels like we're falling apart. Meech says that Dink folded on the first sign of trouble, and he says that Dink doesn't really love BMF. He tells Hoop that he needs to follow Meech because Meech will never steer him wrong. Hoop says he's down like this Lexus is, and then Meech says, you wanna drive it? He says, whatever, mine is yours, and he throws him the keys. And then Hoop's excited, and he hops in the car and they drop the subject. So look, guys, I don't know if I like the way Meech is moving this episode, because the way he was towards B-Mick, and now he says that Dink folded at the first sign of trouble. Now, if you guys recall, remember in the beginning of the season, Dink got arrested. He got arrested with weight, money, and he didn't snitch. So for them to say that, he folded, in the face of some customers is a wholly completely thing than him like snitching on the crew. So for Meech to kind of write him off like that, I felt like that was a moment of weakness for Meech, and I feel like Meech is kind of expanding too fast to kind of see, the people he has around him and take care of the folks around him. So we switch to Terry, and he's back at the hotel. Markeisha's long gone, but she's left a note. The note says that Terry can't be there for Markeisha if Terry's providing for another woman. She says that things might be bad with Boom, but she needs financial stability. And I'm over here like,
I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke.
I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke niggas. Bro, she straight up said, hey, I'm gonna need that bag if you trying to be with me, boy. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I used to fly on private jets for Carmelo Anthony. I am not going back to the ghetto. We switch over and we see that Jen and Bryant are watching this, and they notice that, something has happened. They're not sure what it is, but they say that maybe they can use Terry stepping out to cause some drama in the crew. Bryant gets a call and Jen asks who it is, and Jen says that it's Kevin. Bryant says that he has to go. Jen says, can you drop me off at my house? And Bryant agrees to do so. So now we switch to Meech. He's over at K9 spot, my favorite spot. He runs into Sterling, and Sterling says his PA guys have a beat on Lamar. Meech says, let me know what happens once you guys kill him. Meech catches up with K9, and he tells him that he's ready to get back in the game. He wants a re-up. K9's excited. He sounds like he's down to help Meech with the re-up. K9 speaks to one of his goons, Big Ray, who's on the phone, and Big Ray's telling K9 to go easy. K9's like, what, go easy on what? I'm not paying nobody. Those guys can come get it back in blood. So it turns out there's some dude named Cena. And he's calling K9 trying to get some money back, and K9's refusing to speak to him. Meech picks up on this, and he goes to Big Ray, and he asks Big Ray, yo, what's going down? And Big Ray tells Meech that K9 owes this dude named Cena $20 million. He also tells Meech that this dude is a Colombian. So this guy, he's big connect. So Meech, you can see his gears start turning. K9 comes back at the Meech and he says that he can't do the re-up right now. Meech says that's cool and they'll catch up later. We now switch to Bryant and B Mick at B Mickey's house. And it sounds like B Mickey is ready to go through with the sting. B Mickey saying that Meech and him have a lot of history, but maybe it's time to go forward in a different direction. Dang, B Mickey making big plans, I see. There's a hard knock at the door and Brian asks B Mickey if he's expecting anybody and B Mickey says, hell nah. He goes to open the door and it's just Veronica Jen. B Mickey's upset that Veronica Jen is, randomly showing up and he's saying, yo, you're gonna blow my cover. He also says he doesn't want to do the sting anymore. Brian says they are moving forward with the sting and that they are all B Mickey has. He tells him to keep his phone and Patreon and Jen and Brian exit. We now switch to Meech and Terry sitting in the car smoking together, and Meech is telling Terry about the situation with K9, saying this is a big opportunity that they can come in from the back and take K9's connect, and instead of being buyers, they can now be suppliers. T thinks it's suicide to go up against K9, which I think he's right. Meech says this is their chance to level up and have their own plug. T still says it's risky and he asks about B-Mix. Connect. Meech says that B Mickey reached out about the connect, about the medical grade connect, and that they will get a few keys from him to kind of sample out. Terry thinks this is a better idea than going behind K9's back and stealing his connect. He thinks they should work with B Mickey until K9 is ready to give them a re-up. At this point, Terry says he has to go and he leaves. We switch to Terry back at the Flannery house and they're getting ready for the family photo. Terry's looking for that belt that Wanda took earlier and he cannot find it. Wanda says he doesn't need it and Terry says, well, my pants are gonna fall down, and he's a little irritated and he's saying this is a little too cordial. He doesn't want to play dress up. Wanda gets upset and she scolds him, telling him that she wants him to go to the photo shoot because he wants to go. She says that she wants him to be proud of his family. He says he is, and they end the scene. We switch to Lamar, and he's leaving the store. We then see two of Sterling's guys start following Lamar. Lamar turns a corner and he disappears like Batman. We can hear his dog barking in his Jeep, and Sterling's goons get closer to try to find out where Lamar went. Next thing you know, we see one get dropped by a gunshot, he just falls down. The other guy goes around the car to try to find Lamar, but the next thing you know, he gets dropped, and it turns out Lamar is hiding under the car with the shotgun, and he asks, yo, did Meech send you? And the dude's like, fuck you. And then Lamar kills him. We switch back to Terry and Wanda, and it looks like they did go to the photo shoot and they're done with the photo shoot. Terry is dropping Wanda off at her mom's house. As soon as he gets in the house, he says he has to go, and you can tell Wanda's a little annoyed that he didn't spend any time and just left. Wanda's mom asks if there's trouble in paradise. Wanda says that he's just in a funky mood, and Wanda's mom says that Terry is always in a funky mood when he's around. She says that she didn't raise a fool, and she asks Wanda if she really thinks that Terry is in love with her. Wanda says that she doesn't know. Wanda's mom then says that you know what you need to do. And then we see Wanda leave, and then she comes back with a bag, and she says that she has a number of Terry's clothing articles. She says that she has his brush, his socks, the belt, a jacket, and one of his chains. At this point, they say they got everything they need. I'm over here thinking like, what the fuck? Are they like about to sell a few pair of clothes and get like a few $100s? Like what's going on over here? What are they doing with his clothes? So now we switch to Jen and Brian, and it looks like the sting is going down. They got their earplugs in and they're listening in on B Mick. B Mick is meeting with Meech inside Wolf Records. B Mick walks in with a hat on and Meech immediately calls him out for saying, why are you wearing a hat? You never wear a hat. And B Mick says, I always wear hats. So they start talking and B Mick hands Meech the drugs, and Meech says, all right, hold on a second. He puts the drugs down and he shows B Mickey some documents. These documents are receipts for a burial site or burial sites that Meech got set up for B Mick's mom and for Kato. Let me take that back. I guess Meech does care a little bit about what's going on with B Mickey, and he went and got them some, burial sites. Meech also says that they just expanded again and that B Mick is gonna have his own territory to run and he's gonna be his own boss. He says that he appreciates B Mickey, he loves him, and that he's been there for day one for him and his brother. B Mickey starts crying, starts getting all teared up. As B Mickey's tearing up, he starts talking about this childhood story, and he takes off his hat and he shows Meech that there's a wire in the hat, and he also points to the door to let them know that this is the door they're gonna come through. Meech continues talking about the story, saying there's some Jerry curl juice in the water, but he takes the drugs and he runs out the back. At this point, Bryant and Jen notice that something's wrong, and they bust into the store and they notice they're gone. They see the hat on the floor, and then they hear the guys escaping on the back window. They then go for pursuit, but Meech and B Mick are able to escape. B Mick tells Meech that he's sorry and that he didn't have another choice, and Meech says, fuck you, there's always a choice, and they split up. Bryant gets to the back alley, and then Jen calls out the window that the drugs are gone, and they're all gone. So Bryant, he's pissed because he just lost those drugs that he took from evidence to catch Meech. The evidence folks are gonna be upset that he lost those drugs. So we switch to B Mickey. He goes to see his mother. He lets her know that he left the nurse some money for her, and that he's gonna have to leave town for a while to lay low. He then goes outside and he starts to spark a blunt, and someone drives by him, and he already thinks that he's about to get shot by the drive-by. He keeps walking to his car and he's trying to spark a blood, but then next thing you know, someone comes up behind him and they kidnap him. They put a hood over his head and he struggles, tries to get away, but it's all black. We can't see anything. We can't see who took him. So I don't know who this is. I'm thinking maybe it's Sterling's people. I don't know if Meech would send someone that quick to go after B-Mick, but I'm like, dang, this is getting crazy. I'm surprised they didn't just kill him. So they kidnapped him. They might torture him. They might do a canine kind of thing to him. Think about that. Remember what Meech said? When a motherfucker violates, we demonstrate and we end the episode. So what do you guys think of this episode? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? We got a lot going on here in this episode, a lot to unpack. So we got BMF expanding. Meech is expanding BMF maybe a little too fast. I do see some chinks in the armor, right? We got B-Mickey snitching, busting the sting operation on Meech. We also got Meech beating up on Dink. We also got Scotty getting killed. We have Hoop wondering why Meech is beating up on his brother. Okay, we got a lot of different things going on. We got these PA guys who might be a problem. I feel like they might be a problem down the line. I just don't see them coming in and just solving problems. I feel like they might do the same thing that Meech is trying to do to K9. If Sterling catches wind that Meech is trying to go behind K9's back and get his connect, I don't think Sterling's gonna be loyal to Meech. Also, when K9 finds out that Meech is trying to steal his connect, I don't think K9's gonna be cool with that. K9 is definitely gonna do something. K9 might have to torture Meech. Now, of course, Meech is the main character, so that's probably not gonna happen. But you guys gotta understand, K9 is probably the most dangerous guy that Meech is messing with. You know, like, we haven't seen Lamar run up in K9's house talking about he runs shit and give me your chain. K9's still wearing his chain because K9 ain't want to be fucked with. We got your boy, Raw Dog Charles. Raw Dog Charles back with Mabel. So now this is gonna be a recurring thing. When is Lucille, how will Lucille find out about this? And you guys gotta remember, this is so disrespectful because Mabel was at their house in the beginning of the season, bro. She's gonna slip up and tell Lucille what is going on, I promise you. Who kidnapped B-Mick? Who did it? Was it Sterling? I think it's Sterling. It could, I don't think it's Bryant. Well, maybe it could have been Bryant because Bryant's the only one that knows that B-Mickey's mom is in that hospital, and that's the first place B-Mickey would have went if he got into trouble with Meech, because if he's gonna run, he's gonna let his mom know what's going on or that he's leaving, right? And he's the only one who knows where his mom is. So I'm thinking it could be Bryant who went and sprung up on him. Let's go back to the beginning of the episode. You remember that Calyx guy that approached Hoop and asked him for something and they didn't really tell us what it was? What is that all about? What about Wanda? What about Wanda stealing Terry's clothing articles? Why is she stealing his belt? Why did she take his chain? Okay, maybe he can sell the chain, but why the belt, the brush, the socks? What are you gonna do with that? Like, are we doing a DNA test or something? Are we trying to see who you've been around? And we know he's been around Markeisha, but how's that all gonna work out now? Markeisha all of a sudden was down, let Terry pay for her to get a hotel room, smashed Terry, but then all of a sudden thought about, oh, hey, you got a girl at home, don't you? Oh, no, you got a girl at home. I got a man at home, but guess what? Because you got a girl at home, it's over. So how is that all gonna work out? I'm pretty sure Terry and Markeisha will come back together. You know, Lala's too big of a character to let her go over that. So I'm wondering where all this stuff is gonna go. We got Jen accusing Bryant of being dirty, but then all of a sudden maybe down to go into a relationship with Bryant. Are we gonna go anywhere with that? I think I'm actually kind of interested in seeing that. Not like them sleeping together, but I want to see where they go with that relationship because, you know, she's very straight arrow as far as like, I'm not doing anything dirty, but you know, this fool Bryant is very untrustworthy. Like, he doesn't give her all the information. She's always asking him, where you been, who you with, what's going on? And he's always kind of, you know, throwing a loop around her. So that's it, guys. That's what I think. That's what's going on. Thank you guys for rocking with your boy. Make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, put a notification bell so you know when I go live. You know my boy K9 is watching this channel now, so you know you gotta fuck with us. Hey, K9, hey, fuck with your boy, for real, man. Fuck with your boy, okay? All right, guys, I will catch you guys in the next one. Catch you guys next week. Peace.